Well, I want to say good day again to all of my friends, my family, my loved ones, my associates. Whether you're near or far, I do hope that all is going well in your part of the world. Again, this is Raymond Settles, and I'm here today with your motivational moment. Charles Kettering said, "You can't have a better tomorrow if you are thinking about yesterday all the time." And you may say, well, who was Charles Kettering? If you don't know, Charles Kettering was an American inventor, engineer, businessman, and the holder of 186 patents. He was a founder of Delco Electronics and was head of research at General Motors from 1920 until 1947. Among his most widely used automotive developments were the electrical starting motor and leaded gasoline. In association with the DuPont Chemical Company, he was also responsible for the invention of Freon refrigerant for refrigeration and air conditioning systems. At DuPont, he was also responsible for the development of first practical color paint in use with the mass production of automobiles. While working with the Dayton Wright Company, he helped develop the Bug aerial torpedo, which is considered the world's first aerial missile. He led the advancement of practical, lightweight, two-stroke diesel engines, in which he revolutionized the locomotive and the heavy equipment industries. And in 1927, he founded the Kettering Foundation, which is a nonpartisan research foundation. For a person whose life was filled with progressive inventions and innovations, Kettering knew he could not afford to be stuck looking backwards and being stuck looking in the past. How many inventions and innovations would have been missed had Kettering not learned how to move on and look forward? How many times did Kettering look past his own failures and shortcomings only in efforts to keep pushing forward and persevering until he accomplished his goal? Now, no doubt, for someone who held 186 patents, he likely had 10 times as many failures. And rather than get stuck in the mire of failure or in the muck of disappointment, Kettering pushed on. He persevered until he was able to complete the assignments in which he had engaged. I would love to tell you today that life is filled with mountaintop experience after mountaintop experience. That wouldn't be true, though. There will be, and there are days in which success is less common than failure, when the highs are outnumbered by the lows, where the times you've come up short outnumber the times you've reached your goal. That happens with all of us. If you look at it in baseball, if you fail 7 out of 10 times in baseball as a hitter, you're considered a great hitter. If you fail 6 out of 10 times in baseball as a hitter, you are legendary. That it doesn't happen. So trust me, more times in life you come up short than the time that you don't. But that's okay. That's part of life. Learning to have and adjust and get beyond disappointment is part of the maturation process. In times like that, and maybe you had to deal with some of those this week or this month, I feel confident in saying at least in this year, let me tell you, in that case, you cannot help yourself by standing in place and feeling sorry for yourself. No, it's time to dust yourself off and keep moving forward to the goals that you have set for yourself. You are able and capable of getting it done. You just have to learn to move past the disappointment, move past your yesterdays. That's why the Apostle Paul wrote in Philippians 3, forgetting the past and those things that are behind me and looking forward to what lies ahead, I press on towards the mark of the high prize of the calling in Jesus Christ. This is what he's calling all of us into. Paul tells us, look beyond the past events. Look beyond the past times and focus on what lies ahead for you. Truthfully, it is easy to get caught up on what could have been, what should have been, and what would have been. But let's be honest. By and large, if all you can do is sit back and say, well, I would have done this, I should have done that, I could have done that, a lot of times that's a waste of your time. Now, perhaps you look back to get an idea on what would have best served you by doing it another way, and that's okay. Maybe you even strategize in looking back to say, on the next time a situation like that comes up, this is what I'm going to do. And that's okay. But if all you do is reminisce and stay stuck in the past, stay stuck in the yesterday, stay stuck in the what coulda, shoulda, and would have beens, how you ever gonna move forward? You know, you'll be like that once great high school athlete who 15, 20, 10, 30 years down the line always and only can remind people of that game in which they hit the big shot, they scored the touchdown, they hit the big home run, or they had that awesome game that no one had ever seen before. But they're not talking about today. Definitely not talking about what's to come tomorrow. I say this, I need you to understand. Positive past can be as dangerous to progress as our negative past. You can be so glad to remember the high times that you neglect to see, you neglect to acknowledge the possibility or the opportunity that presents itself today in the present, or what's awaiting for you tomorrow in the future. When Paul says, forgetting those things which are behind, he is talking about all things. He's talking about those good things and those bad things, those glad things and those sad things, those up things and those down things, the high things and the low things, the successful things and especially the unsuccessful things. Life is more than what happened on yesterday. Life is more than what the past tells you. Life is brimming with possibilities for today. Life is filled with the potential on tomorrow. So don't get stuck losing your life focusing on what happened yesterday. That's just one part of your life. You still have a present and a future life to look forward to and to focus on. What you need to do is adjust your focus so that no matter what takes place, when you achieve something or when you set out to achieve something and that day comes, whether you do it or not, take time to appreciate and assess your victory or even your loss, your accomplishment or your failure. See where you went right or where you went wrong. And then turn right back around and redirect your energies into the next goal or the next accomplishment. You know, it's the year 2020. And if you are in churches like I am, if you follow people in churches, or if you watch the media of churches, everyone was projecting about 2020 being a year of clarity or a year of vision or something along those lines. Well, sometimes your vision has to be adjusted. Sometimes your vision changes. And in that same way, your vision has to be adjusted. Your vision has to change. Whether you win, you readjust it to make sure you do it again. If you lose, you readjust it, make sure you don't do the same thing over again. But especially if it's something that is past, is old, is lost, is behind you, don't get caught missing out on what your better tomorrow could be because you're stuck thinking about yesterday. Again, whether it's a failure or in a success, forget those things that are behind you. Press on toward the mark of your high calling. God did not create you for simply your existence. He created you so that you can accomplish, so that you can achieve, so that you can reach the goals that you've set, because He put those goals before you. I just want to tell you, you can do it. You can do it. My name is Raymond Sells. Again, this has been your motivational moment. I need you to go out and seize the day. It is right within your grasp. You can do it.